Alzheimer's disease affects about 6 million individuals in the United States. This terrifying disease gradually destroys parts of the brain required for memory, logic, communication, and fundamental everyday functions. So when last week, the FDA authorized an Alzheimer's medicine named Aduhelm, produced by Biogen, that could potentially treat the disease, and Biogen's stock price shot up 70% in 2 days, that it would have resulted in a celebration for such an astounding medical achievement. But that was not the case. The approval of this drug by the FDA instead sparked controversy, frustration, and even bribery accusations amongst many in the medical community and on Wall Street.
Now these reports of FDA advisors resigning in protest from the outside panel.
This had always been the problem. There is no real science here.
The development follows after an independent advisory council asked the FDA to reject the medicine known as Aduhelm in November, noting that the treatment had not been proved to effectively reduce the disease's progression. Even after this rejection, the FDA chose to shift Aduhelm's evaluation to the accelerated approval track at the last minute, based on the unconfirmed notion that the drug's effect on brain would aid people with Alzheimer's disease.
This same committee dealt with this Duchenne muscular dystrophy drug a few years ago. That's from Sarepta. And it was a similar situation where the clinical data were really not clear, but there was a much closer vote from the committee. This one was almost unanimously against this Alzheimer's drug. There's also just millions of patients who could take this drug, and Biogen priced it at $56,000 a year. And so there's a key question about the kind of spending that will happen on this drug as a result of the decision. Why this one got through is another question.
Beyond the uncertain data behind Aduhelm, the drug has very troubling side effects such as brain bleeding and brain swelling. This means that patients who take the drug would need to have routine MRIs done to ensure that they are not suffering from these symptoms. It has also been announced that Aduhelm could cost up to $50,000 per year, which hopefully would be covered by medical insurance, but that too is uncertain. Despite all of this, in June of 2021, the FDA reconvened and found evidence that the drug is slightly effective in its fight against Alzheimer's, which was enough to grant approval.
To help explain a little bit more about that backlash, Dr. John, I mean, why did an independent counsel recommend actually rejecting the drug? And what was the FDA's rationale for deciding to approve it?
And this is where it gets pretty complicated, Morgan, because what initially happened is this company came for approval a few months ago. The FDA declined it, so they went back and they looked at their data. The FDA declined it because the data just wasn't showing any improvement. They went back and looked at the data, and in the data they found, at least in one study, that at higher doses it seemed to help out a little bit. So they came back to the FDA with that, and they said, look, it's showing some improvement here, and we need a drug that can show some improvement. Other experts said, you know, between the studies, one study showed no improvement, another study showed a little bit of improvement. It's just not where we want it to be right now. And so that's why they said, you know, we probably shouldn't have approved it, and we rejected it the first time. And that's why the independent panel said no, but the FDA went against that and said, let's go ahead and approve it anyway. And they just made that decision today.
As a result of the FDA's ruling on the medicine, 3 members of the panel have resigned thus far. Dr. David Knopfman, a neurologist at Mayo Clinic, Dr. Joel Perlmutter, a neurologist at Washington University, and Dr. Aaron Kesselheim, a professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School, have all filed resignation letters. These members believe that the agency ignored their input in its authorization decision. They believe that this will jeopardize patient care, public confidence in the FDA, the pursuit of effective therapeutic development, and the healthcare system's efficiency. In a statement from Dr. Patricia Cavazzoni, head of the FDA Center for Drug Evaluation and Research, the FDA acknowledged the drug's controversy. She stated that there has been a lot of public discussion over whether or not Aduhelm should be approved. Cavazzoni told reporters at a press conference that the drug had been approved through the FDA's accelerated approval pathway, which allows the agency to approve drugs for severe or life-threatening illnesses if they feel as though there is likely to be a clinical benefit. The FDA has ordered that the drug maker do a follow-up study to confirm the drug's patient benefits. If the study fails to prove efficacy, the FDA has the authority to remove the drug from the market. The ease at which this drug was passed has led to some very outlandish accusations of members of the FDA, such as accepting bribes, purchasing Biogen stock prior to approval and the 70% gain in price, and approving the drug so that pharmaceutical companies can take advantage of desperate families looking for a cure for their loved ones by slapping an outrageous price tag on the drug. All of these claims are completely unsubstantiated at this time. But please feel free to share in the comment what your thoughts and opinions are on this ordeal.